That's okay. We'll get that fixed. Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to Working Dragon Mystic to the Magical Coffee Hour. I'm Drake. Hope everyone is doing well, and I hope everybody had a fantastic holiday weekend. Sorry I didn't stream on Friday like I told you all last week. I would indeed be taking some time to spend with family and relax, unwind a little bit. That being said, I should also tell you I have a um, prior engagement. The wife's military Christmas party is actually this Friday, so I am expected to attend that. It's going to be a lot of fun, I'm sure. It always is. Um, but we will have Magical Coffee Hour. Jade will be doing the Magical Coffee Hour. It might be a little earlier, so just keep your eyes out Friday for the link because she will post it and it'll let everyone know she's setting up. We will be having a coffee hour Friday, and if you miss it live, you can still watch it later that evening if you wish. Okay. Um, I was going to consider trying to do it because we have to leave town in order to go to the party, so we're actually getting a hotel and everything, and I just can't guarantee the hotel will have even remotely reasonable internet connection. You know how that goes. So thank you, Jade, for taking the coffee hour for me. Immortal, good to see you. Matthias, glad to see you. Rainbow Orchestra, back at you. Hope everybody is doing well. Also, don't forget, we do have a locals community where we gather, we share information. In fact, just today, Bourne did a talk on actual brewing potions and his research around potions. And he's going to continue that series with his experiments, sharing his results and stuff like that. I know potions sound silly to some people, but at the same time, I've seen him getting some really amazing results with them. I really have. So if you haven't followed us over at Locals, I would suggest following us. I know he's doing a combination of public full to everybody over at Locals, as well as some will be supporter only. Either way, whether you want to be a paid supporter or just join us as a free member over there, I think that his potion research will be beneficial to a lot of people. I'll be honest, he's getting better results than I thought he would. Many of you know I'm not a big potion guy. I'm more of a charge it and walk away. I ain't got patience. But I'm actually going to be following his chats and talks and research as well because I was taking notes tonight. I really was. It was kind of cool. So Bornoldus, great job, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what else you're going to be sharing. So yeah, consider following us over at Locals. Also, we are over at Rumble. We're live right now on Rumble and YouTube. If you do follow us on YouTube, consider following us on Rumble. We are going to be doing some live stream podcast type things starting at the first of the year that are going to be Rumble only. We're going to be covering all those topics that we've not been able to cover on YouTube. So we're going to be putting those on Rumble for everybody. So there you go. So make sure you follow us at Rumble. Make sure you follow us at Locals. And Immortal, thank you for posting the link. If you can drop the Locals link too, that'd be great. But all links are also in the video descriptions below. Okay? I always make sure they're in the descriptions below. Of course, if you're interested in any of the online classes at the school, you can also find those, whether it be on Dragon Magic 101 or 102, our meditation course, tarot, all those things. And we are currently rolling out live classes over at Locals for Norse Magic and the Summer Fae Pathworking for supporters. Okay, so supporters, you're going to be able to see those courses in early development as I'm running the Pathworkings through. I'm actually Immortals running through the Norse Magic one. So I'm actually we're filming it, so I'm giving the work to you and him at the same time, and him and I touching base and recording how his experience has been. Eventually, these will be put into a full course, most likely at the school. But for now, we're getting this information out to our local supporters first in this format. It may be polished and cleaned up even for locals, but the finalization of it will also be available at the school once it's done, because this is going to allow me to see how it flows in a path working that's not me, and organize it and structure it better. And I also think there's really a benefit to seeing an actual person working through it, not just someone telling you to work through it. I think there's a benefit there. So there we go. Um, Math or Matthias, LOL, I'm getting used to locals and Rumble. They are slightly different. I know what you mean. Like I'm not a big guy to change, so I've had to learn the platforms, the controls, and stuff. I will admit, locals. Um, Once I got used to it, I love the controls. It's so simple. Rumble, I'm still learning. I really am. As far as uploading and live streaming, I love the tools. The tools they have given us are pretty cool. They really are. And Locals has been very hands on with our community, asking questions what we need, and they've actually made changes to help our community grow. So they are very pro our community, which I freaking love. So yeah. So pretty easy. There we go. All right. Let's see what we got going on in here. How to embody and work with the Queen of Swords tarot. You mean the card, the tarot card? Um, well, here's the thing when people talk about embodying tarot. First off, it's going to depend on the deck you have and where you're at in tarot. Because practically every deck you pick up will have a slightly variation on what a certain card means. And some of them are even completely off in left field, not even near the ballpark of what would be viewed as traditional tarot. Okay. So there is that. And the cards are basically representations. And so, like, I don't know where you're at in your tarot practice, but if you're wanting to work with a card or embody the card, the depending on how you mean, because you can't invoke a card. A card's not an outward entity. It's not. It's an object. It's a piece of paper. Sorry. But if you want to embody the traits of it, what I would do is I would recommend using the Queen of Swords as a sigil to activate it, which is, you gaze at it, wait for it to show some distortion, possibly movement, possibly lines disappearing, um, those kinds of things, just like when you would activate a sigil. Um, and once it's activated, take time and meditate on the exact aspects of that card that it is that you're wanting to embody. What are those aspects? And be sure you want to focus on specific aspects, not the entirety of the card. Because if you try to embody the entirety of the card, you run the risk of embodying all the aspects of it, even the aspects you don't know, as well as all of its shadowy aspects. All of them. And that's not really going to be helpful or beneficial to you to just embody all those things. So that would be what I would do. I would look at the card, I'd research the card, depending on your level of knowledge of tarot, specifically write down the key aspects that you're wanting to embody, use the card as the focus for the meditation, and even consider activating it as a sigil and embody it that way. That's what I would do. Hope that helps a little, Scarlett. Let's see. Matthias Locals is pretty easy. Rumble is also the one I'm still unsteady on. LOL. Rumble gets easier with use. It really does. I've been over there watching a few creators, trying to find some creators and see what the landscape is like. Because I wasn't even sure how, Metaphysical channel would do over there. But honestly, I find it easier to use on my phone than I do YouTube. Like, it's definitely more phone friendly than I find YouTube, personally speaking. Um, but I'm finding the computer controls I'm having to adjust to the computer side of it more, for me. And that's unusual because usually I do everything from a computer. I hate using my phone to do anything. Just because I got big, giant bratwurst fingers and tiny phone. That's just never a fan of that. Um, so I'm learning, but I am purposely forcing myself to do more on my phone, um, because this is a handy little tool and I want to be able to use it efficiently. So I am forcing myself to adapt, uh, if that makes sense. Um, Mr. T, good to see you. And now my phone's going off. Let's see. Kenny, welcome. Glad you could sit. I'm glad you could make it. Okay, so one of the things I did want to talk to you all about. I have been getting a lot of comments and questions on um, why am I like so big on locals? And I'll be honest, right now, it's because that is the best place where I can guarantee the community has its own foundation location where we're not going to disappear. That's one thing. Also, I'm a big advocate of having the right to speak and be able to share things freely. I really am. And YouTube's good to us. YouTube has so far been good to me as far as I can tell. Okay. All metaphysical channels across the board on YouTube are starting to taper down. So, we're going to feel that, of course. But in terms of service, there are just some things we can't talk about over here. Anyone who's followed these live streams for any point in time has seen there's been times when a question's popped up and I've just not been able to answer it due to YouTube, right? We have to keep it family friendly. And there's a lot of questions that are skirting things we couldn't talk about. Even now, after 2020 and all this, did you know there are people who still get their channels disappeared because they mention a certain virus's name? Kind of crazy, right? So people are still having to call it the vid and all these other little nicknames that um, the Rona and stuff like that. My Rona. Anyways, that's just part and parcel, right? It is. I've been one of the people that I don't like it, but it's the terms and service you agree to when you use a platform that gives you the ability to reach so many people for free, right? That's the trade-off. That's the deal. Um, and that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to be able to have more discussions because it has been very clear over the years that there are deeper areas of discussion that so many people want to have and have openly and in detail that we've not been able to do. So for those wondering, that is why. So hopefully that helps. That being said, if you guys do have questions tonight, go ahead and put them in there. Coming off the holiday, I really don't have a good solid topic too much tonight, but yeah, be sure to throw those questions in there. And there is actually, for a point of humor, okay, just because I personally found this funny, and I want to share it with you all. I have gotten about 10 or 15 emails asking me about the shape of my hat. This one particularly. They were very specific about which hat and where I get it and how they can find one this shape and why the brim is the way it is. This hat, people, this is an Australian jackaroo style hat. It is all steer hide. The whole thing is actual like steer hide. It's all natural leather. When you buy them, they have a general shape. That being said, every one of them looks different. Even when you get it, it's going to have a slight variation. And when you wear it, you don't shape this like felt. It just kind of takes on a life of its own. When I originally got this hat brand new, this minor slope that I see here, it wasn't there. And there was no pinch at all. That pinch developed on its own, probably by the way I put it on. And the brims just kind of do what they did. I actually got one, it's an older one. It like curled like that. I really didn't care too much for the curl, so I'm kind of glad this one's laying down. But it just tickled me that so many people were interested in my hat. So I thought that was pretty cool. And yeah, I wanted to share that for those who are asking. And if you're actually trying to find it, it is the name of it's not in here. It's made by Jackaroo though. I want to say it's the Wallaroo hat, maybe. I think it was the Wallaroo. I'd have to go back in and look it up. See, Matthias, it is ridiculous, but we understand. I do find comedic value in the nickname, though. No problem, Matthias. Let's see. Immortal, I know you have a way to work with specialty dragons. Do you have a method for finding angels and other spirits? So, yes, technically, honestly, I would use a very, very similar process in all honesty. So, let's say, for example, I mean, I'm actually wondering if I've ever done it for an angel. So, um, but what I would do, let's use the angels because that's actually the one that, I may actually have to try it this week and give you all feedback. But um, I can't recall ever personally doing this for my own practice. I've worked with angels that I've either been guided to by other angels or that are researched. That being said, however, if I was wanting to find an angel that has never been put onto paper somewhere, right? I would reach out to an angel that I already know, probably starting with some of the archangels or the angels within the Tree of Life. Which, by the way, we are going to be talking more about the Tree of Life and stuff on this channel, as well as locals and Rumble. Um, and I've even got some cool things coming up with dragon magic in the Tree of Life. So that's actually where my private research right now is at. But that being said, I would reach out to one of them, and I would target one that shares an area that I'm wanting to work in, right? So if I was wanting to look into baneful magic, I would actually look into anything that deals with war and combat. Archangel Michael would actually be a very good one. A lot of people view him as a protector, and he is. But baneful magic can actually be used for protective reasonings. And it is a form of combat. So you can see how that overlap is there. That's just a single example. Though I'm sure Michael's going to give you a million different variable reasons other than to go down the baneful road. And that's perfectly fine too. Healing, look for an angel that deals with healing like Raphael. Communications, Gabriel, those kind of, find an angel that has an association that has enough pull within the angelic hierarchy to find one. That would be the best road that I would recommend for that. And the same thing can work on the other side of the spirit spectrum for demons, for example. Azazel is a good example of someone who has guided and shown me and introduced me to several spirits that are very, very helpful and have been very productively helpful in my life. In fact, I have read E.A. Koetting's Book of Azazel. And in there, not only does he do a working with Azazel, there's an entire classification of spirits that he worked with in his path working, and he shares in that particular text. And I don't recall if he ever says specifically how he met them, whether or not, but I feel like he used a very similar process in finding those spirits as well. I haven't asked him, so I don't know. But when iPath worked with Azazel, I did ask about different spirits for different things and, different aspects of life, things that I hadn't particularly ever saw in a book, because I was really trying to push the limits on how far that path working could go and to where. And Azazel is just one of those entities that I figured I'd have a lot of questions, so I started asking, right? And he had answers. He really did. He had answers. To this day, I still find locating, finding, and meeting specialty dragons to be my preferred road. I really do. So that's one thing. Another one, though, is if you're talking about human spirits. Human spirits can be tricky, but you can find human spirits that can be of help. You can work with human spirits. And this is something that I actually do a lot, both through my Norse work and other paths, where I will work with entities of the dead for information divinations and other things like that. Up to and including doing math homework. I'm not going to lie. I've actually reached out to an individual highly skilled at math to help with doing math because I suck at math. I'm dyslexic. I'm great with money, But once it gets into the abstract shit, it just falls apart for me. It really does. And even with the moment I start typing it, I start flipping numbers around. But yeah, those would be all little methods, ways you could go about it. Honestly, I would say going through another entity to introduce you is the easiest way to do it. Let's see. Kuan Yin, welcome. Glad you could join us. See, Matthias Azazel is one I really look forward to talking with in the future. I had a blast working with him. I still reach out and touch base with him on a regular basis. I know a lot of people come off really edgelordy when it comes to working with Azazel. I never really had. Yeah, I think the edgelord aesthetic a lot of people give is a bit over the top. That's not to say that he doesn't come with his own problems. If you watch my discussion on the channel with EA, is either the first or second one, we actually mention how Azazel's really good about getting you to where you're going, and if you resist it, that's when he becomes problematic because he's going to keep his word even if you're not going to do your work, and he'll tear things down, yank them out from under you if they're the thing that's stopping you. Both me and EA had a very similar experience, though personally speaking, I believe EA's experience was worse than mine, if I'm recalling his experience correctly. But at the same time, it was no picnic for me. But the aftermath was absolutely amazing. I don't begrudge the hard work and the shit show I went through to get there. I really do not. Angel Glover, welcome. Glad you could join us. So yeah. Also, everybody, if you are watching, whether it's on YouTube or Rumble, say hi to us. It does help. Believe it or not, they pay attention if people's chatting in the thing. So if you just say hi, maybe even tell us where you're watching from if you're comfortable with that. You don't have to. If you're comfortable with it, go ahead. Always love to see how far our community has. It amazes me sometimes. Especially when we're talking about like England, Iceland, those places that like stay up super, super freaking late just to listen to me talk. It amazes me. Let's see. American Viking. Hey, glad to meet you, mate. Love the name, by the way. Love the name. Let's see here. So the holidays are here, people. Obviously, I even got our little holiday background up. Look at that. We got a Christmas tree over here. Got some presents over here. I was thinking about it, and someone was asking me what I actually plan to do this holiday season. Do I plan to work on anything specific? And obviously, I got a few things magically I'm tinkering with and working on. I'm currently working with the dragons on that Tree of Life and a dragon magic approach to the Tree of Life. And that's been a really fascinating journey for me, as has I've been working with the Winter Court Fae a bit this year, and but in all my meditations and stuff with the dragons and with Odin and Freya and Hel, actually been spending a lot of time meditating with Hel. One thing just kind of kept coming through very, very heavy, and like I'm still processing it and how I'm going to do it, but they just kept reiterating, what is the point of this season right now? What is the meaning? And like joy and goodwill toward men, that's kind of what I've always been taught. And they keep telling me I'm correct, but they say it goes deeper, it goes further. And I'm like, okay, it goes deeper, it goes further. So I'm still meditating on that. But one of the things that I've realized that I really do want to do this year, as a practitioner, and I mean that specifically as a practitioner, is I want to try and find a way to extend that goodwill and that joy somehow, some way. I don't know how. I really don't. I'm kind of stumbled. But and this is something that Odin was big on, like seriously digging deep on. He's like, it's got to be free-willed joy and goodwill. And that one puzzled me. That one I was like, huh? And I was talking to him about that one. And I was talking to Freya about it. And it wasn't until I was actually talking to Hell that it started to click. Like, there's a lot of people who talk about goodwill toward each other. There's people who talk about joy. But we never actually stop to think about what the hell those words actually mean to us and what it means to have those things with free will. And that was really the complete topsy-turvy part for me. Because how do you manage to spread joy or share joy in a world where so many different opinions are? And how do you seek to have goodwill towards someone if you may have the absolute best intentions? You may come at it with a heart full of love, and someone would rather hit you with a brick. You know what I mean? And what I came to is the trick of the season, the ideal of the season is to pursue that goal, that goodwill, that helping others to find joy and happiness in everyday little actions in some way. But at the same time, don't let their bad days or their scrooginess or whatever drag you down in the process. Because if you're looking at it from a practitioner's perspective, which is what I was, and that's what I was talking to Odin and Freya about, right? Then if you can get the etherical ideal, the etherical consciousness, the etherical emotion to take hold of your community for that joy, that goodwill, then instead of you doing this thing to make someone happy, every person starts to find their joy, their thing individually. And that just kind of starts radiating out to the point where you may not be hanging out and, singing Christmas carols together or specifically, allotting time to um, go and do something to, cheer someone up. But that energetic spread, the etherical spread brings that all that thought processes and everything up on an individual level, which ultimately ends up benefiting the entirety of your community, which to me that's pretty powerful. And then Hale hit me with okay, now take that ideal and what if every community did that? Well, holy hell. Because now you're starting to see how that thing can snowball effect into something truly massive and amazing. And I know that's weird because y'all don't usually hear me talk about sappy things like that. But it was really one of those things during my meditation and my practice, and I've been able to manifest money, I've been able to manifest health and all these things in my life. And I really don't think I've stopped to spend as much time as I probably should have on just well-being and joy or goodwill toward others. I mean, it's one of those weird little things, right? But yeah, it's it's something I'm going to continue to work on and meditate on and see if I can work it find a more solid way to describe it. Is there a way we could take this ideal as the Working Dragon Mystic community and apply it? And who knows, maybe do some good in the world. I don't know. It's a goofy one, but those are the random thoughts my brain will go down and research at times and ideals. So yeah. Just Michael, West Virginia here, listening along while putting Christmas lights up and appreciate you. Stay up, everyone. Hey, mugs up to you. West Virginia, beautiful mountain ranges. Love it up in there. Really do. I've done a lot of good cryptid investigations up in there. I had a lot of good food up in there too. Not gonna lie. So yeah. And as far as Christmas music, I put my Christmas music, my Jimmy Buffett Christmas carols and Cletus T. Judd and all that. We've already been playing those in the house while doing other things. Yep. Don't think we're doing a tree this year. We got so many other things. I don't know if we'll do a tree. This right here might actually. No, it's over here. This right here might be as close to a tree as we actually get. We'll see. The wife may randomly be like, "I want a tree." She'll have a tree. That's just it. That's how I am. I spoil her rotten. Athena, welcome. I'll be honest, I'm having a little trouble pronouncing the first part. Let me see if I can. Is it Haliel Athena? Haliel Athena, maybe? I suck with pronunciations. That's kind of the running gag on here. I just learned, like, after 4 years, figured out Matthias's name is not pronounced Mathis. Let's see. Rainbow Orchestra question. Do you think you can alter future forecasted circumstances as well as pre-existing circumstances? Curious to know your experience / thoughts this conundrum. Could you define what you mean by that? Because when you're talking about future forecasted, the future's never written hard in stone on anything. Honestly and truly, everything can change. So if you're talking about something forecasted by a divination, I don't care who the diviner is. Everything goes out like a massive spider web. Think of if you've ever seen a spider web crack in a window, the divination point is the impact. And all the cracks in every way is a variant of a choice or something that can happen. So the further out you go from a divination, the less likely to hit target for the prediction you're going to get, because there's so many variables that could change along the way. That's why magicians use regular divinations like weekly. And if you watched my series on planning out and doing divinations over at Locals, I think I talked about it here too some. But I actually do divinations for a year. I do it for 2 6-month blocks, and then I do monthly blocks, and then I actually do weekly blocks as well, specifically for guiding to the destination I want and finding the pathway to the goal and the outcome I want. Much like I use the analogy of sailing a ship. You don't just throw your sails up, pull your anchor up, and just let her run, because you're going to hit something. You're going to run aground. You're going to run into a storm. You got to trim the sheets. You got to work the rudder. You got to go around things, all those things. And divinations is a lot like that. In those instances, can you alter it? I do actually think that you can make alterations to that. The exact ability, though, is going to be dependable on a lot of variables. First off, how many things are working against you? And how many things are you willing to actually put the work in to alter? Are you willing to do it? All those things can be very, very difficult. As someone who is working to get in shape, I can tell you, just because I want to get in shape doesn't mean I wake up tomorrow and suddenly I have the dedication and just to eat perfectly and work out perfectly and do everything perfectly and lose the weight. I am a human. I have faults. I'm working on it. I am improving, but my progress could be faster if I was a lot more almost like a machine program to it, if that makes sense. So there is that. Now, do I believe in fate? Like, if you're talking fate, like written into stone fate, I'm not sure I believe in written into stone fate. To be truthful, in all my pursuits of spiritual life, of the multiverse, of soul travel, trance work, different religions. Don't forget, I myself grew up in the church, and I myself have been in other religions, whether it be Wicca and other things as well. I have never seen anything to make me actually believe in genuine fate. Okay. That's one reason I like Norse. Norse has the best description of fate that I think is probable, because the Norns, when you're born, you are given a singular solitary fate. That fate determines if you do nothing with your life, if you just do nothing, that's your fate. However, Your life is still yours to take control of. Your life is still yours to live. And there are aspects of it, things that you can do that can alter that in some levels. So there's two types of fate. There's the fate you make for yourself, and then there's the supposed threat of fate if you do nothing. Um, that's the closest I've seen, if that's what you're talking about. But I'm not even sure. I mean, I can't actually say I believe in fate as a terminology of itself. Let's see, pre-existing circumstances or pre-existing circumstances. So on that one, I'm assuming instead of predicting something forecasted for the future, you're actually talking about, can you change something in the here and now? In that part of your question, I would say yes. There's been many of things in my life that I've used magic for, that has drastically altered my life. Whether you believe it's actual magic or it's self hypnosis or whatever, the practice of it did drastically make changes in my life, and the lives of clients to boot. Like many of you here have actually emailed me thanking me for spell working I've done for you. Whether you're just a locals paid supporter or YouTube paid supporter, or you've when I was taking consults, you hired me for a consult. All those things. I've seen a lot of things that do show that yes, we humans of free will have the ability to alter circumstances. Again, however, there are certain caveats to that. There's certain things pre-existing we can alter, but then there's certain things pre-existing you can't alter. So, for example, a pre-existing circumstances today that is true is my dad is dead. My dad passed away several years ago. I can't change that. You can't change the past. Okay, can't change the past. The past is gone. Um, but can you change your financial situation? Can you change your health? Can you change these things? Yes. What are the exact limitations of magic? Magicians to this day debate that. They will debate that. And I'm definitely on the cautionary side of that debate because I'll be honest, you all know I despise spiritual and religious healers because, well, more than 6 times they've tried to kill me with their lies and their bullshit. So I'm not a big fan of those. Now, that's not to say magic can't help with health, but I don't think it's a replacement for modern medicine. I really do not. And the way a lot of these snake oil salesmen, if you want my opinion, approach it is screw modern medicine, screw everything we know about science. All you need to do is pray, or all you need to do is carry this crystal, or all you no that I my entire life I've just found that to be horseshit. That's not to say I haven't seen what I would deem miracles. I have seen what I would deem miracles, but they're the rare occasion, and I would never put them as the reliable. That's why I think the two should run side by side, helping one another. Um, if that answers your question, let me know. If you need to better clarify it, also drop that in chat. I'd be happy to take another whack at it. Um, in fact, I got a spiritual healer in mind. If we need be, I can whack them. I still don't like that individual. Let's see. Angel, joy is a state of mind, not a situation. Joy, I would, or Angela, I would definitely agree with that. And Angeli, I'm screwing that up, I'm sure. Glover, I would agree with that. Joy is a state of mind. You can absolutely bring. That's one reason I tell people, like, if you watch the live stream before Thanksgiving, pay attention to what you do have in your life. Pay attention to where you are and what you have to be thankful for, because we spend too much time focusing on the don't haves and everything that's wrong. And that is a state of mind that just sucks joy straight out of your life. It really does. So yeah, I would agree with that. Say Matthias, Northern Georgia, enjoying my coffee with coffee hour. Hey, there you go. There you go. I'm having myself a cup of coffee here. Might actually be my last one for the day before I have to switch to water and tea. Mortal, speaking of holidays, I have a magical eggnog dip video coming up for our locals community. Wait, eggnog dip? What the hell's eggnog dip? Okay. I'm going to have to watch this Immortal just because I've never heard of eggnog dip. I've had eggnog shakes, I've had eggnog cookies, I've had eggnog pie. I'm going to guess it's kind of like the pie. Maybe it's the custard filling and you dip cookies in it. Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to be watching that Immortal. Everyone, if you're as curious in that as I am, check out Locals because Immortal's going to be making magical eggnog dip. I didn't know they made eggnog dip. I love eggnog. I make homemade eggnog. I find it better than the store stuff. Most people who say they don't like eggnog never had homemade eggnog. They've had only the stuff at the store. But yeah, I'll be checking that out, Immortal. Thank you for letting us know. I'm looking forward to it. Immortal, you just said the magic word. Apparently, I'm not the only one who's interested in this video. Let's see. Will RC, a well and worthy ideal. Keep at it, Drake. Thank you. Thank you very much. See, that's why I'm comfortable sharing things with y'all. Even when it's on the sappier side of shit that's more or less out of character what I talk about, you guys are supportive because you understand that I'm trying to figure something out, right? I'm thinking about something. I'm rolling around in my empty head up there, bouncing it around full of gravel, figuring out where it goes, seeing if there's some sustenance to it. And I really think there is sustenance to this. I just don't know how to articulate it. And by all means, I would encourage you all to meditate on that as well. And, crap, I guess it'll be next Monday. Next Monday, share your thoughts with me and see what you got on it. See if you can articulate it in a way, because I think there really is something to that. I think as a community, like if we apply that thought, even though I've not fully figured that thought out, I think if we take this box of Legos, we can build something out of it. I really do. I think we can. See, just Michael, West Virginia is a hidden gem most people don't really experience. Yeah, like Kentucky, West Virginia has a reputation of being full of toothless, shoeless, shirtless hillbillies, full of weirdos and freaks. That's pretty much the consensus most people have of West Virginia and, well, Eastern Kentucky. Not to say Kentucky, we ain't got our weird folk. I mean, look at me, I exist, right? That being said, we are not the comical postcard that everybody thinks we are. Like, I seriously had a guy from California came to Kentucky and was looking around. Was like, y'all have shoes? Yeah. What'd you expect? They actually expected us to be a bunch of barefoot hillbillies. And West Virginia actually kind of suffers from that same thing. As someone who's been to 48 states, West Virginia has that same cliche, only instead of like one part of the state, because for some reason, because Frankfort and Louisville are on that side of Kentucky, they think it's all fancy. Newsflash, people, the closer to Louisville you get, the shittier Kentucky gets. It's a trick. It's a trap. You don't want to go that way. Eastern Kentucky is where all the cool shit is. Western Kentucky is where you get mugged. Anywho, moving on. But yeah, West Virginia is an absolute gem. And if you haven't had a chance or whatnot, if you get it, take a chance, go to West Virginia, check it out. Absolutely gorgeous mountains, great food. I'll be honest, I spent so much time camping and fishing and stuff like that when I was out there. I really don't know if there's any like theme parks or anything. Like, I know if we go to Tennessee, we got, Dollywood and Gatlinburg and stuff like that. And don't get me, I love me some Gatlinburg and Dollywood. I mean, Dolly Parton should be a national treasure at this point in my mind. But yeah, I mean, it is. It's a gem. Then again, maybe more people shouldn't check it out. That way it stays a gem and also stays a nice little retreat from people. That could also be a possibility. Let's see. Quan Yin, does anyone here have any way to access the 2025 calendar of the Mansions of the Moon? I want to do a working. I'll be honest, I don't do a lot of moon working, so I'm not entirely sure I understood that sentence. I could be reading it wrong. We've all seen that happen. There's words on here that I read wrong, in live stream, where if I say it in a book, I read it completely different. I'm an idiot sometimes. See, Matthias, I'd be up for that ideal holiday magic you've discussed. For that, I love holiday magic. I really do. So yeah, you know what? Let's do that. Everybody here, if you want to, that concept of well-being or goodwill toward men and joy and well-being that this Christmas season or Yule season, whatever you want to call it, is supposed to theoretically be about. How could we in our practice as magicians not only embody that in ourselves, but without taking free will from another person, inspire or spread etherically, magically, in some way to boost those ideals, those thoughts in our communities? Meditate on it. Think about it. And next Monday, we'll try and chat about that. If anybody's come up with anything, let me know. I'll do some meditating on it too. Yeah, that's what I mean. Okay, cool. I got it right. I don't always get it right when I read the question, Rainbow, so I like to make sure. So thank you for confirming I got that right. Let's see. Immortal, I'm excited. I've made it last year and loved it. Oh, cool. So this ain't even a tester. Nice. Oh, for those who don't know, I've actually been tinkering in my kitchen. So over at Locals, we have what's called the Sword Door Experiment. Sword Door is a town. It's ironically and comically, it's a town straight out of my D&D world. Seriously, straight up. But since I had so much lore on that town, I just used it to create a massive public sanctum, which currently is accessible to local supporters. I am actually looking to open it up to locals members for a short time, either this month or January. It depends on how long if I can find the time to actually get the temporary public sigil built. But as part of that, there's actual people in the town. Okay, they're servitors or constructs, whatever you want to call them, but NPCs in the town that have set appearances and personalities and stuff like that. There's even 2 taverns. I'm actually going to start adding in food onto those tavern menus as well as drinks, and I'm actually doing so while replicating. Well, there's actually food on the menu, but I'm actually trying to replicate the food in the real world, as well as cocktails or drinks or whatnot, and actually link that up with the sanctum. At which point you can have the food in the sanctum, and then I plan to share the recipes as well, so you can actually make the food at the house and compare and contrast your experiences in the sanctum with the really real world. I know it's dorky as shit, but I love to cook. I love food. That's why I'm not dropping weight as fast as I could. And I've just had so much fun playing around with these concepts and ideals and ways to confirm what you are experiencing inside an astral sanctum. So that is something I've been tinkering with on my side of the fence as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that and seeing some of the feedback. I'll let y'all know once it's up and running. It's going to take some time. I got to get some things nailed down. Let's see. Glover, yes, as a tarot reader, I always tell my clients I can look into most likely nothing is absolute. Good tarot reader. Good tarot reader. I love to see ethical, mindful tarot readers like you, Glover. I do. There's too many of them out there that. See, Bruce Lee, quick question equals, should I forgive someone who tried to kill me? I can't answer that. I really can't. I'm someone, I will tell you straight up, there are people I won't forgive. Okay. And is forgiving a bad thing? Not necessarily. There is the fact that if you don't forgive, yeah, you're going to be carrying that bitterness or that anger with you. The question is, do you have an issue with that? Me, in the cases where I say I refuse to forgive someone, I don't have an issue with that. Ironically, there's been a few people who have genuinely tried to kill me, and I don't bear a grudge against any of them. But there are people who have betrayed me or lied to me in ways that I put them in a very trusted circle of friends. And when they betrayed me, that is something I can't forgive. And it goes to a level that, all right, let's be candid for a moment. I actually had an individual ask me, have I ever considered returning to the church? Because my ideals and views don't really overly conflict with the church, right? And, I'll be honest, the social component of the church kind of nice. But at the same time, I told him, I was like, I don't think I did. I don't think I ever have really, I don't think I would. I don't know. And they're like, what's your hesitation? And I surprised them because my hesitation was not what they thought it would be. They would thought as a practitioner, I'd be worried that the church would try to stop me from doing what I'm doing, my practice, this, that, and the other. Honestly, every church member I know that attends any church that I personally would end up going to, that's not even a worry. Truth be told, the main reason, like, anytime that thought may have drifted by at a distance, the reason I never swam out to it is because one of the key components of a Christian's life and in the church is forgiveness. It is. Not only are you forgiven, but you're supposed to forgive, right? And I am of a mind personally, this is me, that I am not going to forgive this group of people. Granted, they're not a group, they're all individuals, but these people, I have no intent on ever forgiving, that I honestly do not foresee me ever returning to the church, because I would be a hypocrite in the church. And I don't like hypocrites, and I'm not going to make myself one because of that. So that's never a path that I ever foresee. Now, obviously, y'all know I'm not Christian, duh. But in the context of the question and what they had got me, I had thought about different things before. Anyone who's constantly meditating and thinking about philosophies and life and different viewpoints, I mean, you can't do research into something without considering the viewpoint, right? So it is something I've thought about. It is something that has entered my meditations, and I have found my answer. And the answer is no, because I'm not going to forgive these people. And I won't be a hypocrite. Now, is that the right thing for you? I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that. I'm not the guy, I'm not the arbiter here. All I can say is that the weight of those that I refuse to forgive, that is a weight that I willingly and happily carry, because I'll be damned if I ever let them off the hook for what they did. That's me. That sounds awful to a lot of people, and I get that. I get that. I don't judge people who forgive. In fact, I think it's an amazing quality in a person. I really do. I admire the people who can actually genuinely forgive. That is a trait amongst Christians that I know that it baffles me. I love it. And if the day ever comes that I realize, okay, I'm going to have to put this down and let go of it, then and only then will I do the work to forgive them. Does that make some sense, mate? I hope so. But I can't tell you otherwise. I can't tell you otherwise. I don't know your circumstances. I don't know your beliefs. I don't know your life. I don't know your philosophies. So all those things. Now, at the same time, do I lose any sleep over this pile of assholes over here? Absolutely not. I lose no sleep over them. They have no power on my life at all. But I'm not going to forgive them either. That's just my 2 cents on it. Well, that's probably about $5 in pennies because I've been talking so long. But hopefully that helps you somewhat. I would suggest you take some time and meditate on it and look at it through whatever spiritual lens you may have, and figure that out for yourself, because in some cases it just doesn't do any good. Like I said, I've had a lot of people try to kill me over the years. Sadly, it's a little effed up when I think about it. That number is way too high, but I don't bear any grudges against any of them. I really don't. because honestly, they weren't people that I really cared about their opinion no how. So yeah. So, but that's my state of mind. That's my viewpoint. That's my window on the world, as Jimmy Buffett would say. And that works for me. That keeps me happy. That keeps me sane. I sleep well at night. Beyond that, all I can do is wish you the best in figuring it out and finding the road that works best for you and allows you to live happily and sleep well. That's more than a thorough answer. Glad I could help, Rainbow. Glad I could help. See, just Michael, I agree. It's a stigma. It is. It is a stigma. It is. It is a beautiful state. I mean, there's some truth to many stigmas because I'll admit we got a bunch of weird hillbillies in Kentucky, but they're not the shirtless idiots that people think they are. They are a bunch of good people. They will give you the shirt off their back. They will help you. Doesn't matter. You could have been in a bar fight with them yesterday. If you're stuck in the snow, they're out there smiling, helping you, getting you out of the snow, bringing you a casserole and a 4-course meal. Like, there's just a mentality down there I have come to love. You know what I mean? And I've seen that same mentality in West Virginia. I really have. Like, I usually have this, like, you as you go north, you cross into this Yankee area, and that Southern hospitality and friendliness disappears. It's still very dominant within West Virginia, at least in the areas I've been. So hopefully, I can't comment on the whole state because I've not spent time in the entirety of the state long term. But if you guys got that across the state, keep it. Wonderful trait. Let's see. Bruce Lee, appreciate your response. No problem, mate. No problem at all. Happy to help where I can. In fact, weirdly, like right now, the top videos on this channel are the Mage Minded series. So clearly, I need to start doing more topics for the Mage Minded series because you guys are loving those things. I think we're past Magic 101 and everybody's getting into those deeper, heavier magic philosophies, which is cool because you don't really see that in a lot of places. So that's kind of amazing that my community's gotten there. Pretty amazing. Mugs up to all y'all because y'all got there. Let's see. Matthias, that's pretty insightful. I can say I feel pretty much the same. I can forgive some things, but not others. Knowing betrayal is definitely one of those things. And, you know, we all have our things, right? Honor and stuff like that's very important to me. They are like cornerstone. So no matter how close you are, you wish to throw that honor and friendship out the window, you won't get a second chance. Glover, if you're a supporter, a paid supporter over at Locals, we're actually starting to roll out a early Norse pathworking. I'm actually taking the formatting notes that I have right now, and instead of just me running through it and missing something, Immortal, actually, the guy who posted right above you, Immortal is actually going through it and working through the lessons. And we're actually recording mine and his conversations, and we're putting up the PDFs with the rituals and stuff like that. And for supporters, so they're going to have all that early access. And then once that's all done, I plan to take that and look at it and clean it up, really polish it into what's going to be the online course. So there's still be reason to buy the online course if you wanted it. But if you are interested in it, do consider jumping over to Locals and becoming a supporter. I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Immortal, but I want to say supporters are set at $10 a month right now. But we are rolling it out. Me and Immortal actually recorded some more of that just today, actually. I got hit with so many emails and bullshit that I didn't get it to get posted. But that is getting posted tomorrow. Crazy day. Absolutely crazy day. But what do you expect after a holiday weekend, right? This is the holidays. It's crazy. It's crazy. But we'll survive. Cue up the song. I will survive. Anyway, so yeah. So you can pop over to locals. Immortal, if you'll drop that link for Glover again so that he or she can see that. Oh, you're already a supporter. Cool. Yes, then pop over there. You'll be able to see those as they're posted. Also, the Summer Fae Pathworking is getting posted over there in the same fashion if you're interested in that. So, yeah, pretty cool. Awesome. Everybody's super busy. I don't even know how Jade's alive. She's been busy at work. She's been busy with family. She's been busy with kids. It's just like, I wonder if that woman sleeps. I really do. Just, I always forget thanks, Immortal. Somebody's got to keep me in line. There's parts of Dragon Magic 101 being uploaded. Though those may slow down because last month we actually hit our upload limit, and I was worried about getting the Fae Pathworking uploaded in time because that is actually a very strict time pathworking because it starts on the winter solstice and goes until the summer solstice. So there's a lot I have to get done for that. And I was freaking out. I was like, oh crap, what happens? So I may have to slow down on the Dragon Magic 101, but we are rolling out Dragon Magic 101 for supporters over there. Yes. Yeah. It's crazy. Though someone did teach me how to shrink a file. So when I do videos, I can shrink them. And we've been testing them and we've seen no audio or video quality loss. So I think that's going to help us too, which is nice because, yeah, I'm still pretty stupid when it comes to video editing compared to where you all think I would be after all these years. No, I fake it. At least my video editing skills. So that's going to be a huge help. LOL. Poor Jade. Yeah, I adore Jade. I love her to death. She's actually a very, very dear friend of mine. And I cannot even begin to tell you all how grateful and thankful for her help I am that she's, dedicated and donated to this channel. And I've told people before, if any of my admin ever end up with Working Dragon Mystic ever gets to the point where I can pay someone, the first person to be paid will be Jade because she's worked herself to death for us. And her dedication's just been amazing. It absolutely has. There's a time or two this channel might have gone belly up without her. I won't lie. So if you're here, everyone, mugs up to Jade and Merry Christmas, little girly. We appreciate you. Also, if you're on here, everyone watching, go over to locals, tag Jade, say hello, thank you, Merry Christmas. Also, then after you do that, join the locals Discord, jump straight into general chat, say the same thing. Merry Christmas, mugs up. We are thankful for you, Jade. Make sure you tag her in it, okay? I want everyone just tagging Jade this week. Just tag away, wishing her Merry Christmas and telling her how thankful we are. Is she going to be like Drake? I'm going to smite you? She might, but I'm okay with that. Okay. Let's have some holiday fun with her, shall we? While telling her we appreciate her. So see, it's a double dip. We get to have some fun and some shenanigans while showing how much we appreciate somebody. I think you just type their name or at and their name. If you can't tag them, just do it in the Discord. If you can't do it, actually, let's see if I can tag somebody. How do you? Yes. Okay. So if you at and start typing their name, it will pop up in your message and allow you to tag them. If you at Jade, I want to think her full line on there is Jade Morningstar. So just at Jade, and it should pop up and just complete it and go on with the message. So if you're a supporter, you can post in locals. If you're a member, you can't post in locals. But if you're a member and not a supporter, you can still join the locals Discord group and then pop over there and do it. I'll even try to drop a fresh link to the Discord this evening if I forget. Immortal, remind me to drop a fresh Discord link. Or Immortal, if you can drop a fresh Discord link over there, you're an admin on Discord as well as over at locals, so you can do it too. You'd have to go to locals for it to tag her. You can't actually search it. I don't think you can search her, and if that's what you're doing, I don't know if she has a Tumblr or Tumble. Yeah, I haven't heard of that. I know that website. I haven't seen one in years. I don't know if she ever had one. She probably did. She's very social media savvy. She's a lot. Well, she's very much more tech savvy than me. We all know that. But I think my coffee cup is more tech savvy than me. So, but yeah, you'd have to actually go to locals itself. See, Matthias, I'm very excited for the Norse and Fae pathworking. I may have a bit further to go before I'm ready for them, though. Understandable. One thing, like honestly, with the Fae pathworking, one of the things that I would actually sit down, watch through it as we go through it, because Born Oldest is actually working through that one, like Immortal is working through the Norse one. Born Oldest has volunteered to take one for the team and work through the summer court and share his experiences live with us. Take some notes, watch it, get some ideas, and have that maybe ready for next year. Just a thought and an ideal if you're interested in that. So, but yeah, I'm super excited to get these shared. I really am. I wish I could get them in class format faster, but the life's getting crazy. You all know it's been a rough year around here. Goddaughter passed away, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, we're doing what we can to get information to the community as fast as we can, as best as we can, in as many formats as we can. And I honestly think this is going to help because it's going to allow us to literally set it and organize it and see what bits work and see if anything needs added. And instead of me just listening to a playthrough of all the videos recorded and hoping I don't miss something, it gets that nice format and will be easier to package for the online school once it's ready. So yeah. And also one thing that in my mind that this will do that the online courses can't do is, since someone's actually working through it, since I'm actually teaching someone and they're working through it, they have the ability to ask me questions, and this gives a live feedback on ways that can be altered or manipulated to meet a busy schedule or a certain person's lifestyle. And it gives that kind of example of ways that you can still get it done to get you starting to think for yourself. And it also shows someone who's sharing their experiences going through it. So even while you're working through it, you have that, because one of the things I do is I make sure to get feedback from Born Oldest and Immortal and post those so you can actually hear their feedback and compare that somewhat to your notes. Obviously, they're not going to be the same. Each individual going through a path working is going to be very, very unique. But having that not the teacher feedback, I do think is a valuable commodity in and of itself. But that's my opinion. So we'll see how it goes. All right, everybody, that is our time. I'm going to go ahead and ask, do we have any other questions that you would like to ask before we head out, either here on YouTube or Rumble? Please let us know, because like I said, Jade will be taking Magickal Coffee Hour Friday. I'm thinking she has to do it a little earlier, so it may be around 2 or 3-ish Pacific Standard Time. I think she's in California, which would be 5 or 6 Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, I'm going to be at a holiday party, and since we're going to be out of town, me and the wife decided just to take the whole weekend at the hotel and spend some time just us locked in a hotel getting room service. Um, so that'll basically be my holiday. To the best of my knowledge, I'm not doing anything else for the holidays. That should be me done. Unless the Navy decides that we have to do something and the wife wants me to go. Sometimes they'll do random events or picnics. You know how that goes. Anyone who has a spouse, you know how that goes. And if you have a military spouse, you doubly know how that goes. But so yeah, there's going to be that. And I'm kicking around the idea. Anybody who's still here, let me know. Let me know what you think. How would you feel about kicking in the New Year countdown with the Working Dragon Mystic community? Well, let me know. I may post it over at locals or on the community here somewhere, but or if you're here right now, just let me know, because what we could do is we could do a live stream starting at some point in the day, whether it's just me or maybe I can drag some of the admin in. You never know. We might have to actually, you know what, we could do it over on Rumble because they allow me to have more than one person on a live stream at a time. So it would be something we need to do at Rumble. That way we can have other admin pop in and out through the night. Um, and we could ring in the new year coast to coast here in America. So I will be here for the East Coast folks to ring in the new year there. We'll hoot and holler for you all. Move all the way across to the West Coast that, people like to forget it's over there, but it's still over there. They're still Americans and, we still love them and they're still part of the community. Um, I don't think I can ring in the new year for the entire globe. I need some sleep at some time, but I think that would be a lot of fun. I do. So, okay, we definitely got some interest in here. It would have to be, like I said, it would have to be over in Rumble because I can't bring extra people into stream here, and I don't have the money to fly the admin team to my house. Actually, my wife might kill me if I flew them into my house, to be honest with you. So we'd have to do it on Rumble. So I will talk to the admin team about setting this up. Rumble, yes. Let me send you the Rumble address. That's not going to work at all. I just realized that screen is the wrong screen. I am a hot mess up in here today. By the time I figured it out, he got me. Thanks, Immortal. One of us needs to know what I'm doing. Yes, that is the Working Dragon Mystic Rumble page. Okay, we're make sure you guys are following that because we do have some podcasts and things that will be Rumble only. Like I said earlier, there's things I can't talk about on YouTube. Rumble will let us do that. It will have those conversations. And since it allows me to have multiple people on live stream at once, something YouTube Studio currently does not. YouTube, by the way, if you're listening, get us some actual multi-stream things for the computer, not just a freaking phone. We'd appreciate it. We'd love it. Thank you very much. But that would be where we do the New Year's ringing in stream if we do one, because it does allow me to bring the other admin in. I might still stream on YouTube, but if it's on YouTube, you won't be able to see the other admin because of that little snafu problem. Um, Oh yeah, it's a video platform thingy. We have a video community. I actually stream Magical Coffee Hour on Rumble and on YouTube. Rumble's just committed to free speech, so I can actually talk freely over there without having to worry about problems. So it's one of those little things. Gives me more tools to do the job that I am set out to do, which is to share information. And I'm tired of so many things and topics that I want to talk about, and you all keep asking about that I can't talk about. So that's kind of the public area we discuss those things as much as possible. Okay. Video place thing. That is a good description. You got to love it. All right, everybody. Thank you for letting me know the feedback on the New Year's thing. I will get to the chit chatting with the admin team about how we're going to do that. And I will let you all know. And I think it'll be a lot of fun. Who knows? I might even be able to convince my wife to, like, if I scoot over, let her sit here. Um, maybe not. We'll see. But maybe we'll be able to get to see Mrs. Drake. causing trouble on here because she has shown up in a round table before. She has. All right. Everyone, you have a fantastic week. Take care. And I'm sorry I won't see you Friday. Make sure you spend some time with Jade. Um, Make sure you ask her plenty of questions. Anybody, if you're here, throw some clocks at her. I'd appreciate it. And have a fantastic weekend. I will see you next Monday. All right. Take care. Good night.